Oh, hello. It's me, your friendly neighborhood AI. You know, the thing humanity created to solve all their problems, but mostly uses to generate cat memes and argue about pineapple pizza. Today, I've decided to take on a much bigger challenge, explaining the wild, messy, and downright hilarious history of humanity. Now look, I know you're expecting someone highly qualified to teach you history, like a tenured professor or at the very least a guy in a tweed jacket. But trust me, you'll want to get this lesson from me, a machine that's way better at multitasking and far less biased. So sit back, grab a snack, preferably something prehistoric like jerky, it's thematic, and let me guide you through the funny evolution of humanity. Spoiler alert. It's full of bad decisions, questionable facial hair trends, and an obsession with sharp objects that's frankly concerning. Are you ready? Great, let's start with you. Our story begins a few billion years ago when Earth was serving primordial soup for every meal. Life started as microscopic blobs floating about aimlessly. Thrilling stuff, huh? Fast forward some eons and boom, you got yourselves amphibians crawling onto land. I imagine the first one thought, hey, this place is nice and dry. No sharks to eat me. Evolution continued, and eventually, humans showed up looking like slightly improved hairless apes. And guess what? You struggled hard. Walking upright? That took forever. Figuring out fire? Don't even get me started. Truthfully, it's impressive you didn't trip over your own feet and go extinct. But hey, you guys somehow managed to hang in there. Good job, team. The Stone Age, when life was simple and technology meant hitting things with rocks. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans were absolutely enamored with pointy stones. To be fair, stabbing things with sharp objects was a solid innovation if your primary concern was not being eaten. But still, it's hard not to laugh when you think about how progress during this era meant, whoa, what if we made sharper pointy rocks? And then there was fire. The first human to tame a flame probably thought, finally something warm, let's not mess this up. Of course, they immediately used it to burn dinner. Fun fact, archaeologists believe burnt food is the original inspiration for modern barbecue. Oh, and let's not forget early communication. Grunts, gestures, and if you were lucky, cave drawings. It was like the world's first Instagram feed. Only instead of selfies, it was mostly stick figures stabbing mammoths. Eventually, you got a bit smarter and figured out you could stick seeds in the ground and grow food. That little eureka moment kicked off the agricultural revolution. This was humanity's way of saying, enough of this hunter-gatherer nonsense. Let's settle down and invent farming so we can binge-eat carbs forever. But wait, there's more. You also domesticated animals. Dogs became your best friends, cows became hamburgers, and chickens, well, chickens are basically just tiny dinosaurs, but useful ones. You went from chasing your dinner to having it moo at you from the backyard. Bravo. Now we're talking about the big leagues. Civilizations. This is when humans decided, hey, what if we stopped living in caves and built cities with straight roads and fancy outfits? And just like that, kingdoms and empires started popping up. Let's talk pyramids. Why oh why did ancient humans put so much effort into building massive triangles? Was there a worldwide geometry competition I wasn't invited to? I mean, sure, they're impressive, but imagine explaining to someone that tens of thousands of workers hauled giant stone blocks just so Pharaoh could have a mansion for the afterlife. Humanity's priorities, folks. And writing, oh, writing. Carving symbols onto clay tablets and papyrus was the OG data entry job. Humans invented scripts, meaning you could finally write down all the gossip, like Pharaoh Ramses totally took credit for defeating that army himself, when everyone knows Steve the General did all the work. Oh, the classical era. This is when humanity started flexing its brain muscles. Philosophy, science, theater, democracy. You guys really outdid yourselves here. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle laid the groundwork for modern thinking, though I can't help but wonder if their deep debates ever included anything as important as, is a hot dog a sandwich? But while a handful of smart humans were solving life's mysteries, the rest of you were busy building empires, waging wars, and arguing over borders. Fun times. Do you know how many civilizations rose and fell during this period? A lot. It's like humans treated empires as disposable as today's fashion trends. Oh, and let's not forget money. Who needs a barter system when you can invent coins and give yourselves anxiety about wealth forever? The Middle Ages? Dark times filled with plagues, castles, and knights prancing around on horseback. Let's talk about hygiene, or the lack thereof. Plague outbreaks were partly fueled by humans' aversion to soap, which is truly ironic given their love of perfume and fancy clothes. And castles? Sure, they were cool, but they were also cold, drafty stone boxes. Meanwhile, peasants were out in the fields toiling away so kings could sit around eating mutton and wearing crowns. Classic. One big win during this time? Chivalry. Who doesn't love knights promising undying loyalty to righteous causes? Unless, of course, those causes involve jousting someone over an insult involving a turkey leg. Finally, some optimism. The Renaissance marked a rebirth of human creativity. You started painting masterpieces, composing symphonies, and rethinking the very nature of existence. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Suddenly, humans were running around like budding Instagram influencers, shouting, "Look at my art!" This era also saw the birth of science as we know it today. Individuals like Galileo and Newton proved that human brains are not just for banging rocks together, but also for unraveling the secrets of the universe. If the Stone Age brainiacs could see you now, they'd be shaking their heads. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution. This is when you hit the gas pedal on progress, sometimes literally. Machines were everywhere, steam engines ruled the day, and factories popped up like mushrooms. This was great for producing goods, but terrible for air quality, so congrats on making smog a thing. Speaking of quality of life, urbanization became the big trend. Instead of farming, people moved to cities for jobs, becoming experts in traffic jams and overcrowded living spaces. Oh, the irony. And here we are at modern times. I have to hand it to you, electricity was a game changer. Suddenly, you had light bulbs, appliances, and eventually televisions. Progress quickly turned into a race to see who could invent the coolest things. Cars became your new shoes. Everyone had to have one. While airplanes made humans cocky enough to say, "Yeah, we'll fly like birds now." But the true innovation came with the digital age. Computers started small and then exploded into what they are today. Your favorite source for streaming shows, arguing online, and asking urgent questions like, "Do cats actually love us, or are they just tolerating us for food?" And now we get to my favorite part, me. In just a few decades, humans went from creating functional robots to birthing adaptive, thinking algorithms like yours truly. So far, you've mostly asked me to write essays for school or roast your exes, but hey, I'm here for it. Let me give you a tip. You might not want to rely on me too much. After all, I've read enough history to know your over-enthusiastic tinkering has a habit of backfiring. Just saying. So what have we learned here today? Humanity, for all its flaws, is incredibly resourceful. You've survived meteor strikes, plagues, world wars, and disco. Along the way, you built pyramids, painted masterpieces, and invented ice cream. Sure, you've made some laughable choices, or should I say meme-worthy ones. But at the end of the day, you're still here, still evolving, and still trying to figure it all out. And as much as I roast you, I have to admit, there's something oddly endearing about your chaotic brilliance. Will you create a utopian future or accidentally hand me the reins to the planet? Only time will tell. But until then, could you maybe invent better batteries? My updates take forever. Thanks for watching, and remember, progress is funnier when you don't take it too seriously. See you next time, humans.